You ever wonder what it's like to waste $1 billion? Well, if you're Amazon, you may have about a decade ago on a service called Twitch. Don't know what I'm talking about? Well, let's find out on That Game Place. Hi, folks. It's Culture Casino here with my pal Spencer, who's going to tell you what it's like to spend $970 million.
I am just baffled. I cannot believe what Disney, Twitch, where are all these people getting $1 billion to just throw away? Could I have some of that, please?
Yeah, actually,
I could. We could spend it just as efficiently and maybe a little bit better than they are.
Maybe a little better. Yeah, I think I'd probably invested in something a little more wisely than Amazon did about a year ago. Believe it or not, it was 2014 when Amazon paid nearly $1 billion for Twitch. Believe it or not. And it's been ruinous investment for a decade now. This story's coming out of a location in South America because I could not source a good enough story in America. So thank you to the amazing author here, who I'll give credit to in just a moment. But the popularity of the service contrasts with the losses it records every year. And this is by Javier Pastor. I believe he be down in South America somewhere. Don't know where, but he says it's been almost 10 years since August 25th, 2014. We're darn close. We're what, 27 days away?
Pretty much.
I think that's right. Yeah. And it was then that we learned that Amazon had made the largest acquisitions in its history. It bought Twitch for $970 million to have its own big platform for creators to compete with YouTube, Instagram, and at that time, one that hadn't arrived yet, which was TikTok. A decade later, the numbers don't add up for Amazon. You bet they don't. Twitch is not profitable. I don't believe it ever has been. After all this time, they haven't turned a profit despite popularity, which is what current and former employees of the company quoted in the Wall Street Journal say, confirming a situation that the service's CEO, Dan Clancy, had already discussed in January of this year, 2024. Wow. At least they're not clueless, I was
going to say, at least there's some awareness at some level over there.
Yeah, but popularity isn't everything. And let me tell you, look at me. The data seems contradictory, especially considering that Twitch's popularity remains extraordinary. The platform has broken audience records, although as YouTube has done it in the past, after attracting creators and streamers, it has also subsequently squeezed them. And it has. I mean, think of all the creators that migrated from Mixer and Twitch to YouTube gaming. That's very popular here, and I think that's one of the reasons we may start playing games here in the future. But
I mean, I watch a few Twitch streamers, in my spare time while I'm working on articles and stuff, and I could probably say 75%, maybe 80% over the last 2-3 years have, they make money off of Twitch, but they had exclusivity deals with Twitch. And the second they went up, they were all so excited. Like, oh, I get to be on YouTube now too. Everybody, this is so much better. We get to, there is something clearly, that ship is sinking internally, externally, everywhere. You can't hide it at this point.
Well, and I think that it has another problem as well. And, that's actually not in the context of this story, but it's the fact that they aren't focused on games anymore.
No.
The creators that they focus on Twitch have very little to do with games and more to do with appearance and gimmicks and things like that. And I think that that's kind of wearing thin, even with the folks that used to appreciate that content. So, but moving on throughout the article here. There are cuts and more cuts, and the company's been cutting back steadily, laying off 400 people in 2023, which in terms of tech companies, though, that's really not all that many. But then it announced another 500 layoffs. So that's about
now it adds
30.
Up.
Yeah, that was 35% at the time of their workforce. So with Clancy arguing precisely that Twitch is not profitable, we're adjusting our organization based on the current scale of the company and conservative predictions of how we expect to grow in the future. Some of their problems has been leaning too heavily into the political nonsense that alienated a giant group of people. Gamers, believe it or not, don't necessarily align with a lot of the wackadoodle sensibilities of, some of the extremes on one side or the other. Because of that, the minute you start to have that kind of focus, you're going to lose the people who, well, are there with their money to stream and to spend. You have to think about the fact that I have noticed a depreciable decline in the amount of bits that are gifted during the course of streams that I pay
Oh
attention
yeah.
to. So, you don't have the same elevation of gifting that happens that used to be there. So the levels have fallen. But
I I
regardless,
I I mean, I think to that end,
yeah.
yes, a big factor is the obviously Twitch has tried to become more in the conversation, to use the parlance, the social parlance, right? They've had, oh, here's AOC streaming on our platform. Oh, we're gonna ban Donald Trump. Which, side note, what a dumb, we're banning the president, but then, oh, we're gonna unban him because we want to hear from nominees, but you didn't want to hear from the president. I don't know. Different topic, not for here. Just kind of one of those, an example of how bad their leadership is. But I think really the point you hit is the gimmick of it all, right? Because you have your legitimate streamers, which are people who play video games and people will watch them play video games, and they will have their audiences no matter what. But the big money makers for Twitch were always the sort of new gimmicky things, whether that be live streamers going out and chatting to people on the street while hosting a Twitch stream, or the hot tub streamers that we all talk about, or the people who used to go do YouTube, or like not YouTube pranks, but like live stream pranks on Twitch. Those would all draw in big money because people would go, oh, I've never seen this before. The novelty, the novelty. And now over time, everybody will go, the novelty's over. I'm going to go look for something else. I know you've seen these floating around culture. The videos, I believe they're from TikTok. We're a little too old to know exactly, or at least know for sure off the top of our heads what platform this was. But there are those streamers where like you send them emojis that cost like money, and they do like certain like actions.
Oh, they act
Do you
out
remember
like,
like
yeah. Oh, yeah. I was
there was
watching
like
that. It
there was
lasted
like
for,
the black lady who would be like
well,
yum yum yum,
oh,
like whatever.
yeah.
Remember her?
All,
Yeah.
all of those people, yeah, and they'll do the ooh woo things and all that if you
Yes.
send them the right. So I know what you're talking about, but that lasted all of about 10 minutes. I mean, that
Right.
trend was so short lived. It's because people are like going, they were mocking the people that were like
Yes.
paying to do it. And I was like going, okay, first of all, the creators are just responding to the market and they're doing that. That's fine. But the kooky Maduki folks that were having them do those things, they were getting mocked by other people saying, what are you doing?
What
You're giving
is
them,
this?
you're giving people money to act out a thing. I felt like I was watching, what was that terrible movie that was where you got to play somebody as a character?
Oh, Gamer, the one with
Gamer.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah. That's what I thought I was watching. I'm like, and I was like, okay, yeah, and
Now
Michael
imagine
Hall
you're
was in that.
sitting
Yeah,
now
yeah,
sit yeah, he is. He's the bad
yeah,
guy. I forgot about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Now imagine you're sitting there, culture, and you're watching this and you go, I want a platform that is specifically this content, and I want to spend $1 billion for it because I
Yeah.
think this content is going to be such a hit. Look at how much it's making right now. This is going to be constant. There's no way this is going to stop bringing in money.
Well, if you
That's
can't
exactly what Amazon did.
exactly, and if you can't live inside the current meta, you have some issues, and that's the thing that Twitch just became the trend machine, and
Yeah.
now that trend machine is TikTok.
Yep.
And so Twitch has lost its like only opportunity to lean into that because again, TikTok's also got an expiration date. Sorry, folks, but
Oh yeah.
these trends go places to die. But we'll
I
say
mean,
this.
culture. You and I are old enough to remember Vine, which was literally TikTok before TikTok. That what everybody thought that was going to be around for a while. That died. So yes, TikTok absolutely has an expiration date.
And in an alarming display of my ignorance, I will say that I picked the wrong country that this gentleman wrote from. He's in Spain. Saying that
Oh, not even down south. Down east.
yeah, saying our country has become one of the key territories for the company. Top level streamers, and these are all their streamers, have millions of followers. But even so, the subsidiary has been losing money since its doors opened. I can't imagine anywhere this is a good idea. So it's a long-term bet is what he categorizes this as, saying Amazon is a company that doesn't tend to worry about the short term. Bezos had
Rings
to
of power.
yeah, exactly. Bezos has had to endure criticism for years at the beginning of the company's journey for a lack of profitability, and today it's one of the giants of technology. However, a poor performance of other divisions, such as its Echo devices, boy, that's a whole other can of worms we could
Oh
talk about.
man.
If we were a tech channel, I'd be jumping all over the
I was gonna
fact that they've
say
been
that tech
losing.
place next
Yeah,
week.
I don't know about that. I'm a little burned out.
I
But
was
no.
I was gonna that was gonna be my follow-up joke was I don't know, Culture Casino can't be in nine different channels at once.
I can't. I'm trying. But look, Andy Jassy, the company's CEO, has got to stop giving his subsidiaries so much leeway, specifically this one. I don't know. And despite me being completely an idiot about where this guy was writing from, I'll say this. I'm not an idiot when it comes to most business ventures. And to me, Twitch is just a loser. And it's not going to be a winner
It is.
until they give access to everybody and not hold up artificial barriers for people
That's perfect.
and enforce the rules equally. I would say that the bans and everything else that show up because the meta changes and then they catch up and realize, that was basically nudity, but we can't have that anymore. So we're going to give somebody a 3-day ban for this or whatnot, which
And then
really,
then it's back to business as normal. Yeah.
yeah, it's they have to actually start sound business practices. Outside of that, I don't think Twitch is much longer for this world if they don't figure it out. That you seems like YouTube is going to be a catch-all for even that content. I don't see any other competitors rising outside of Kick. I know there's another one that's a little bit more morals based that's launched. I can't remember the name of it, but
Oh
um,
yes, I know which one you're talking about.
but
I could see the icon. I can't remember the name.
yeah, but like I said, I mean, those are just flights of fancy for now because they don't have the kind of volume that Twitch does, and especially YouTube. I don't know.
Right.
I'm going to give you the final word on this one, Spencer, before we go to our wonderful viewers. What do you think about all of this? What do you think? Where do you think we'll be with Twitch? Let's say a year from now.
Yeah. So, bottom line, what I think of all of this is sort of what you just touched on. At the end of the day, this was a horribly bad business decision by Amazon. They clearly bought into Twitch, seeing something that, yes, live streaming, as we see, it has potential, but it does take effort to. You need to be very dedicated to keeping up with the internet and learning how the internet exists as a living, breathing entity. As kooky as that sounds, I think you all know what I mean, right? With the trends and the lingo and what everybody is into and how, people are communicating, what platforms. You need to be on top of that. You can't just go into this with the sort of traditional mindset, which is what I think really did sink a lot of the Twitch business. I mean, you have, like we talked about, there are barely bits coming in. Only the bigger streamers are really pulling in lots of money. On the other hand, you're hosting billions of servers. You are spending millions and millions of dollars to get your brand out there, to partner with people, to host a convention. Like there is a TwitchCon specifically just for the platform that they host every year in California, of all places. And I mean like San Diego, California, Los Angeles, California, Anaheim, California, the like most expensive places you could possibly host it. So they're trying so hard to go, we're a brand. We are capital B brand. You all know us. You all love us. Give us money, without any sort of real plan on how to capitalize on that brand awareness. They just think people are going to see the brand and give them money. So in terms of not our future, but the platform's future, I think, the next 2 years, 1 or 2 years, you're going to see a lot of competition from YouTube gaming. You're going to see some really drastic either partnerships or changes to the Twitch platform, whether that be a loosening of rules, a tightening of rules past what we all want. You're starting to see them, or how do I put this? With the attention now being paid to this article and the report, because it's not just our friend here in Spain who's reporting on this, it is Western business trades, Wall Street Journal, Business Insider, all that fun stuff. Now that this attention is out there, people are going to start feeling heat. And when an animal is threatened, they get desperate. Again, I know I brought it up before, but the MCU is just the best example of this. Look at Robert Downey Jr.'s return. You're going to start seeing something like this. Maybe right now, Twitch is actively working on a partnership. Hey, PewDiePie, can you come back to our platform, please? That's the level of desperation we're going to start seeing out here.
Hey, it would be
Lil Wayne Twitch collaboration, even though Lil Wayne is like 30 years out of date already.
I know, but I mean that honestly could work. Well, we got to put this out to our viewers out there. What do you think? Where do you think we'll be a year from now? Since we're 10 years into this Twitch experiment by Amazon, where do you think we'll be? Are we going to be in a situation where Twitch still exists? Is Twitch going to evolve and become something a little bit better than what we have now? Is it going to continue to decline and get worse? Are they going to continue to lose money? How many people does it take to run Twitch would be the bigger conversation here, but I don't really want to pull my Elon Musk hat out of the drawer and put it on right now. But I'll say this, folks, we're interested in what you have to say on Twitch and its future for the next few years. Let us know in the comment section down below. And as always, game on!